today we are joined by Sven Kolstø, who is the CEO of Optoscale. And Optoscale, based in Norway, providing solutions for the real-time monitoring of fish welfare, weight gain, or weight increase, and sea lice. Sven, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
That's great to have you. So I was wondering if we can just jump straight in, and if you could tell me a little bit more about Optoscale and just about the products you have.
Yeah, for sure. So interesting. I have never thought about the weight gain, but it is, for salmon, the weight gain is the point of it all. But we don't use that word, so maybe we should start using that. I like that. So basically, what we have is it's a sensor solution, but we deliver data or information about what happens to the fish when it is being produced, and that is typically information about the size of the fish. Like how many kilos is the average weight now? What does the population look like before harvest? And during production, how much is it growing? And how well is it converting the feed it's being given? Because that's a very interesting thing if you want to be optimizing your production.
Yeah, it's pretty key.
So those are the things we started out with, and we've developed further into welfare, looking into things such as, do you have any wounds on the fish? Is this starting to show signs of maturation, fin damage, and all these things? And then lastly, we have the lice module, which is more, I think, more in the Norwegian market where the regulations are a bit stricter on lice, but it's important to be able to count these automatically and precisely, so you don't have to do that labor and you get better numbers.
Yeah, so it's a great time-saving a piece of equipment in that sense.
Yeah, I would of course say so.
Yeah, I think so, rather than counting all the lice.
Yeah.
And tell me, so why would this be of interest to Irish aquaculture producers?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to get to know the Irish aquaculture community better, but we know well the Scottish market. So if it is, I hope I'm not offending anybody in Ireland by comparing the two markets a bit, but we have now several customers there. We have Cook Aquaculture Scotland, Loch Duart, and Scottish Sea Farms. And for them, we are helping them to get a better knowledge about the biomass in the cages. And that is both throughout the production and also before harvest. So I think probably this will be just the same, because we see the same need in Chile, Canada, Scotland, Norway, and I'm sure it's the same in Ireland. It is useful for making better informed decisions to have better data.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it's in real time as well, so you know exactly what's going on and like when it's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. And so what stage of development is all of that at, like the company and then the products as well?
So we are fully commercial with the core products of Optoscale. We started developing these in 2015, and we did that together with mostly the Norwegian fish farmer SalMar. They were our partner. And then the past 3.5 years, we've been in a commercial stage. And now the past year with Corona and everything, for some reason, we've also started exporting. So we've set up the Canadian and the Scottish market. So I'd say we are quite commercial, and actually as of yesterday, we are sold out for the first time. I'm not sure if it's a good thing yet or a bad thing. Of course, we're going to produce a lot more now. We're already doing that, but it's a nice thing anyways. Yeah.
That's fantastic. No, I would take that as a good sign.
Yeah. That's a good sign, but if we just remain sold out for a long time, it means we're not really producing. So yeah, you got to work.
Yeah, so you have a busy time ahead now, getting back into production. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and tell me, so how does Optoscale's products compare to other solutions on the market?
So of course we do have some direct competitors, but I think it's fair to look at what is really the normal way to solve the problems that we try to solve today. Because since the outset of fish farming, everybody has been wanting to know the weight of the fish, because you just have to. And I think most normal solution today is actually just by software, because if you're using, for instance, FishTalk, which many are using to follow the process of production, you know the feed you're feeding the fish, and then you're assuming some feed conversion rate, and then that translates into how much is the fish growing. I would say that this is the most normal way of estimating the weight of the fish. And then sometimes the fish farmers do manual sampling as well. Not everybody does that, but many do.
Yeah.
Maybe they do 200 samples each month. And in our view, and I think in fish farmers' view as well, the amount of fish that is from the total population is very small.
Yeah.
And you are introducing the possibility of a bias, because if you're just collecting with a net, for instance, fish from the surface, who knows if there's stratification, like bigger fish on the surface or vice versa. You don't know. So our solution, if you put the camera in the water, you'll measure likely 10 to 20 to maybe more, depending on how you place the camera, 1,000 fish every single day.
Yeah.
And we give you information in real time about the development. You can see very easily, like, was the data you got the one day, was it a fluke? Like, was there a big stratification that day because of predators or something like that? Or do you see that, no, we have a nice trend line here. We can see the growth of fish. This seems very reasonable. So it's a completely different way of harvesting from what's normally done. And of course, there's others providing this like sensors in the same way. And I think what separates us from those companies is that we have elected to do everything in-house. We have hardware design, production, service, software programming, sales, customer success. We do everything in-house, and that's because we believe that in order to deliver value, there's 1,000 small things that need to work. And it's enough that one of those things do not work, and you get a happy customer. So we work every day to make sure that our number one value is created, and that is, the job is not done before the customer is satisfied. And I'm not going to say our competitors don't do this, but we know we are really good at this because we have a lot of feedback from customers telling us they're happy with it, and they are also open to talking to new customers. So if anyone wonders, like, well, is this guy just talking up? But call my existing customers, and they'll tell you the truth. And I think that's a good way of gauging us.
I think it's probably the best way to gauge how well you're doing, which is fantastic. And I guess because you've taken that control and you're designing all the different parts of of the system, so I guess like you know it's going to work, and you can kind of guarantee that in a sense.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing, because I know it's not going to work. I think that is one of the core understandings we have had going into this. Things will fail. This is a very challenging equipment to make. It's very advanced. The environment is very challenging. It's very harsh. So it's going to fail. So what you need to do is to organize accordingly. So what we try to do is to make sure that when things fail, because there is no if, it will at some point, because we're going to have these customers like 100 years. So at one point, and many points in 100 years, there's going to be failures. And our job is to make sure that the customer still gets value, so we can send them new equipment as fast as possible, be online, update their equipment, and so on. And I think that is really crucial. So thanks for reminding me about that.
It's a good platform to bring it up. tell us about it all. Oh, it's great. And from what you were saying, just in terms of the data you can collect, like if you can monitor 10-20,000 fish a day, it's probably data that producers have never had before.
Yes. It really is. And I spend a lot of time talking these days about, I think we are using a very small amount of this data. I think we're maybe at 10%, because I think the potential for optimizing production, for instance, going on a tangent here, but
no.
The past month, I've held a survey among our users. I've asked them several questions, trying to see what do they think we can improve, what do they want in the future, and so on. But also more of a general question, like, how close do you believe we are to the perfect production cycle? Just a sense of where do people believe we are at today in fish farming. And the average number is 55%, which to me was quite surprising, because fish farming is a great industry. There's a lot of good reasons why this is one of the industries for the future.
Absolutely.
But there is a the industry has then a view that we can still do a lot better. And the top thing that people say they want to spend less time on getting information about and better information is the weight of the fish. And that's because I think it relates to the feeding and to being able to feed just the amount that's needed to have the maximum possible growth without overfeeding. Yeah, sorry about that tangent, but it's
not at all. No. But you're improving the whole efficiency of the sector, and you're saving time. You're doing like even efficiencies on feed and everything like that. It all comes together, and it's really important for the industry.
And I think back to my point about 10% of the data being used, we don't improve anything, and that's the challenge, you know. So we need to be working very closely together with the customers, because data from us, if not used in informing a decision that is different from what it would have been without the information, is worthless data. So that's, you know, what we need to work with customers now. Okay, how can we together understand the new information we are looking at here, and how does that impact our future decisions? And that's very interesting. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It sounds really interesting, and just to I think the work you can do, and then what you will be able to do, or what your kind of equipment facilitates, is fantastic. Yep. And then that kind of leads me on to my next question. So you're doing all of this now, and then so what are the next steps really for Optoscale? Yeah, so I think one of those things is we are trying to become better at helping customers utilize their data as well. Yeah. So we are interested in both learning more from customers, but we are also thinking to become more of an advisor in these things. It's not necessarily something that we see as like a big profit opportunity, like this is where we're going to make our money. It's more about if we are able to show customers the value of the data, that will drive the need for our systems and products. Also, we are constantly innovating in the software and hardware part, because our vision is that the unit that we have, which we call a bioscope, we have an ambition that will be an all-in-one solution for fish farming, because nobody wants to have a lot of things in their pen. Yeah. So we are trying to integrate as many things as I don't know if possible is right, because there's always many things you can do, but all the interesting things anyway that customers want us to integrate into this is on the agenda. Let's just say that. Yeah, no, fantastic. I know. Yeah, the less you have in there, it's independent, the better. So yeah, no, fantastic. It's great. And if anyone wanted to find out more about Optoscale, where could they go? Well, you'd be welcome to our office. We are in Trondheim, Norway, but I guess a good first place or first starting point would be our website, which is optoscale.no. Yeah, fantastic. Maybe a little bit more accessible than the office. Yeah, well, it depends on if you are in Trondheim anyway, you know. But yeah, maybe start with the website. Or give us a nice trip there. You never know. That's fantastic with the website, and what we'll do is we can add that to the interview as well, so that everyone will have it. Fantastic. Yeah, so they have all the details there. Don't worry. And Sven, I just wanted to say thank you very much for joining us this morning, and just telling us a little bit about the company and the work that you're doing. Well, it all sounds fantastic. Thank you very much for the invitation, Sarah. I hope to get to know more Irish fish farmers in the future.